Welcome in to the latest edition of PDL Weekly. My name is Nicholas Murray, and I'm very pleased to be joined by the PDL Senior Director, Ryan Brooks. Ryan, a lot of stuff to talk about today, but the big news coming out yesterday, the New England Revolution from Major League Soccer partnering with one of our new PDL franchises, the Real Boston Rams. Now, this is obviously big for Real Boston, it's big for the league. What is this going to do as far as helping this side as it enters its inaugural season?
Right. I mean, having an affiliate with an MLS team, provides a lot of opportunities for the players. What will happen will be, hopefully, the top players from Real Boston will then train with the first team from the New England Revolution, which would be an unbelievable experience for them, because I think the environment shapes the players. So you're putting them in the environment where, they're going into the first team training. You're going to have, they might lose the ball during training, and they're going to get yelled at by the player. It's going to be an intense environment where they're really going to have to step up their game, and what other way to do that is to really play against the MLS players, and hopefully they succeed in that.
Well, some of the players that are obviously going to be coming to Real Boston out of this are former Revolution Academy players, and that's already been mooted, and that's going to offer the Revolution to keep players within their system, within their homegrown player products. Right. We've seen the effect of that in the past. We've seen players that have played for the Portland Timbers U23s, the Sounders U23s, Chicago Fire, Reading United move on to the senior clubs. That's obviously going to have what's it going to mean for Real Boston on the field with the caliber of player they'll be able to have this inaugural year?
Yeah, well, they'll be able to attract the best players from that area. They'll be able to attract the players from the New England Revolution youth system, so then they would be able to come in, and maybe if they're not able to make the first team from New England Revolution, they'll be able to train and play with the PDL team from Real Boston. So it really views it as really a second or third team, which would really help the development of more players.
And obviously in the overall structure, the New England Revolution is one of the teams that's partnered with one of our USL Pro teams in the Rochester Rhinos, so there is actually a very clear path for players to travel up. Now, away from that, we have a coaching hire this week. The West Virginia Chaos hired Predrag Ivanovic, a former player, and he's actually going to be a player coach for them this season. Now, West Virginia, to me, they've been a very good, very competitive side in the South Atlantic Division, and I think this is going to be very interesting for them as Predrag takes the step into the coaching ranks.
Yeah, I mean, he already knows the landscape of the land in West Virginia, which is going to be important from a recruiting standpoint of getting the better players in that area, and also from players across the country. But he already knows the landscape. He already he already knows the fans. He knows the stadium. He knows all of these things, and it will really help him kind of foster himself as being the head coach and also being a player also.
They got a little more than a month to the start of the season. Obviously, he's also an assistant with the University of Charleston up in West Virginia, so that can offer a pipeline of players to bring in. A little more than a month from now, first game is against their in-state rival, the Southern West Virginia Kings Warriors, so that'll be a fun way for him to take his first steps into the coaching ranks.
Right, in the derby, yeah, he'll be playing against them.
Now, other news outside of the PDL this week, MLS Soccer this week came out with its first list of Rookie of the Year candidates, and the top 4 players in the list: Andrew Fowle, Deshaun Brown, Dylan Powers, and DeAndre Edlin, all guys who played in the PDL last season. And I mean, it's got to be nice for the PDL clubs and for as you as the PDL league director to see those guys making an impact in MLS early in their rookie years.
Right. I think it's an important thing when you have the PDL players that are doing well in MLS, not just playing in the MLS, but doing really well. I mean, top 4 players as rookies that are ranked 1 through 4. It's a special thing. Will we say that the PDL was the reason why that they were 1 through 4? Well, I think it's a huge contributing factor to it. They have 3 months of day in and day out training, and they're putting into an environment where it's a step above the college as far as the playing level, and I think that really helps them. The 3 months there, and then they go into college and train 3 months. So it's really a six month thing, which will help them kind of later in the season. So they're doing well now, but will they be able to sustain it for a longer period of time? But I think that through the PDL, that 3 month kind of preseason, I guess, will enable them to have it for a longer season, sustain it.
I think, obviously, the guy I've been impressed with, Dylan Powers and Deshaun Brown, both playing with the Colorado Rapids now. Powers played for the Austin Aztecs last year. Deshaun Brown was an all-league performer for Reading United last year. He's got a chance to emulate one of Reading's other alumni with CJ Sapong, who was the MLS Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, then Austin Berry from Chicago Fire Premier, who's now with the Fire senior side, Rookie of the Year last year. So there's a legitimate chance that we'll see another PDL alum picking up hardware at the end of the season.
Yeah, that would be a great thing. I mean, hopefully those rankings are those rankings are rankings, but hopefully by the end of the season, one of the PDL guys will be on top.
Well, Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time to join me, and thank you for joining us for this edition of PDL Weekly. We hope you'll see us again next week.